for the rest of your life, and it will make you different from those who have not got the chance to be here. So, going back to my presentation, you have had several sessions, I believe, because I've been going through the program. Last night you had meetings and meetings management. Not so? Yes. Have you had a session on meetings and meetings management? Yes. Have you had a session on how to organize MSAU activities? Yes. Exactly. So, my presentation today is like a sub-theme of how to organize MSAU activities. Whatever you discussed during that presentation, there was an area where you had to write a concept paper. So after writing a concept paper, you share that concept paper to the people that, to the stakeholders, maybe the funders, maybe the patrons, maybe the hosts, people who are going to host your activities, maybe the political leaders. You are informing them of what you intend to do and why you want to do that activity. So after implementing the activity, then you write a report. So in these few minutes, we're going to share an activity concept paper. After, then we write a report of the activity, and we wait to be paid because we have produced a deliverable. Not so? Yes. So an activity concept paper is a simple document that briefly describes an activity that you are going to do and why. Previously, it used to be a very big document, but as we know, people don't have a lot of time to read. It should be as brief as possible, but with all the meanings, with all the explanations that would make someone understand what you are really talking about. It has those contents in summary. The background of the activity, the justification, the objectives to be met, methodology to be followed, requirements for the activity, anticipated problems, the tentative program, and then the expected outcome. So when you look at that table of content, I think someone is in position to know what you are going to do. For example, we are organizing a leadership training camp for the new MSAU leaders in Eastern Uganda. That is our activity. So, under background, you have to explain why do you think you really need to do what? To organize the leadership training camp. In just two to three lines. You said every year the Muslim Student Association of Uganda changes leadership leadership positions for office bearers. And therefore it is important for us to make sure that whenever we elect new leaders, they are briefed and given an insight on what is expected, on what we are supposed to do. We are doing the background. We are trying to explain why we think we should have a leadership training for the new MSAU leaders. So we give a brief background as to why that activity should take place. You will say that different leaders don't have skills of managing or running offices. Different leaders come from different backgrounds, and we therefore have to make sure that we give these new leaders skills, and it is therefore important that we organize this activity. So in doing so, you are showing the problem. You show the gap that there is a need for us to have a leadership training for the new Muslim students, leaders. That's what we call a background. After the background, we justify the activity. We say now, when we bring these Muslim students together, they will be given skills in leadership, skills in management, skills in time management, skills in organizing meetings, skills in running MSAU projects. You are justifying. That is what we call the justification. After giving the justification, then you outline the objectives. Under objectives, usually we have what we call the major objective and the specific objective. So for most of the projects, the major objective is the title of the project. So our major objective in this case will be to induct and train new Muslim student leaders into leadership skills. That is our main objective. And mainly, that main objective would be the title of our concept paper because it is a leadership training. So, when you go to specific objectives, you break down that big title. You have talked about leadership skills. What are those leadership skills? So your specific objective, you see, to give new student leaders time management skills, to give new student leaders resource mobilization skills, to give new student leaders DAWA conducting skills. You see, you have broken down the big topic into smaller topics. Those are our specific Specific objectives. And if you see what you've been covering from the day you came, those are the objectives you are achieving. How to present, how to make a presentation, how to manage a meeting, how to do resource mobilization, how to conduct DAWA, how to do personal planning. Those are our specific objectives of this big project called what? Leadership training. Are you getting how you are getting the specific small objectives from the major objective? You get the difference. Our major objective was to train and induct new Muslim student leaders into leadership skills. Then our specific objectives is to give you resource mobilization skills, to give you meeting management skills, to give you get it? So those are our specific objectives. It is important that we don't have so many objectives because it may not be realistic to achieve all of them. So what we do, we usually limit our number, at least to not more than 5 specific objectives. Why? Because we want to achieve them. When we set so many objectives, it may be difficult for us to achieve them. For example, our term of office is just 1 year. But within that 1 year, we have to achieve this work, but we also have to study and achieve academically. So if you set 10 objectives, you may fail. And therefore we say you have failed as a leader. Yet in MSAU we don't do what? We don't fail. So to avoid that, we set realistic and achievable objectives. And the maximum number should not be more than 5. Okay. After setting the objectives to be met, you set the methodology. In the organization of our activities, the methodology means how you are going to implement the activity. It is broad, but it can be broken down and simplified. How? You said we need the camp organization team. Who is going to do what? So you set up a team, chairman, organizing committee, treasurer, secretary. You have finished. And then you can add 2 other members, maybe other 2 members to make an organizing committee of 5. So what is the role of that committee? The chairman will be organizing meetings and coordinating the activity. The secretary will be in charge of documentation, writing letters, requesting for finance, writing letters to presenters, requesting them to come and present to us, writing letters to the venue, to requesting them to host our activity. These are the actual things that you're going to be doing. Writing letters maybe to a school where you want to go and preach on a Friday or what, or a Saturday. That is the secretary. Role of the treasurer of that committee is to be receiving funds and also spending. So, in this section of methodology, you say the camp will have an organizing team comprised of 5 members. The chairman, who will be in charge of ABCD, the treasurer, who will be in charge of ABCD, the secretary, who will be doing this and that. We shall have meetings, we shall write letters to potential funders, we shall mobilize funds from the following sources. You can even list them. We shall request from IUIU, from Nazamati, from the HM of the school X. We shall also request participants to contribute 10,000 as they come for the training. You are explaining the methodology. So, that is part of the organizing team. We are still under methodology. Under methodology still, you will explain. It will be a 3 days event. It will be a 3 days event. The program will be running from 8 to 5. It will also consist of sports and recreation activities. It will also have a touring session. Participants will be required to visit places within the area where the organization is going to be organized. We are explaining how you are going to execute the activity. That is under methodology. After that part of methodology, you go to what is required for you to achieve that. That is the budget. I don't know whether there was a session, the resource mobilization, where they go into the details of budgeting. But for the purpose of the concept paper, we have had the background. I've told you what is in the background, explaining what you are going to do and why. Background and justification. Objectives, we have created the major objective and the specific objectives. Then we have done methodology, who is going to do what and how. Then requirements, budget and sources. You just draft the budget. You shall need, for example, our activities will always need meals if it is residential. You shall always need meals. You shall always need the stationery. You shall always need maybe transport refund, either for the participants or for the facilitators. Those are the major activities you will put in your budget for this MSAU activity. Any other? I've said meals, stationery, and other facilitation. So, yes, there's the sports. Then you budget accordingly. The simple way of budgeting for meals, for example, we no longer write rice 100 kilograms, meat 50 kilograms. No. You say, I have 200 participants. I'm going to be with them for 3 days. Each participant will have a breakfast, lunch, and supper. So, you know, breakfast will cost maybe 5,000, lunch will cost 10,000, supper will cost what? 10,000. So you say each participant will consume 25,000 a day, multiply. I'm not interested in seeing the breakdown. Then you shall buy onions for 20k, then water for 3,000. Then that is too big. We have left that. Just to say I have 200 participants. You break down. Lunch, 5,000 times 200 participants. Breakfast times 3 days. You say breakfast, 5,000 times 200 participants times 3 days. You say supper, 200 participants times 5,000 times 3 days. It is very brief. So I don't want to know the details of what is in lunch, what is in supper. Don't put for me beans 5,000, peanuts 20 kilograms. No. We should leave that one for people who have not gone through this kind of training. Are we together? Yes, even the funders are not interested in knowing that. They know you have people and people must eat. So you should know the cost of how much people will eat. As simple as that. So you make your budget very brief. Then you go to stationery. You say, I'm going to be giving people maybe a file folder, which will be having a pen, a notebook, and a clear bag. You say, how much will that cost? 5,000. Times your 200 what? Participants. Stationery done. Maybe I will need printing and so on. Then you go to other facilitation sports. You may need to hire maybe a pitch. You may need to maybe get trophies if there will be competition. Then you say that. Then you may do miscellaneous. Miscellaneous may set is either 10% of the above budget. Miscellaneous, you say 10%. If the above budget was 3 million, the miscellaneous may be 300,000. So you put it there, and the budget is done. It is important to give what we call the budget justification. Why? Because I've said that you have not given me the details in the budget. So below that, you say budget justification. If you say meals was 2 million, you explain. Meals, we shall have breakfast, maybe break tea, maybe lunch. We shall have waters in between there. Then we shall have dinner. That is the justification, such that someone will understand why you put 2 million under large. So that is what we call a budgeting justification. So after that, you can include the possible sources. Because in the concept paper, you have not yet done the activity. You are trying to explain to people whom you expect that they are going to support you, to give you funding. So you outline the possible sources. We'll get maybe a request for contribution from X, contribution from Y, contribution from the following people. That is what we call budget sources. After that, anticipated problems. What challenges do you expect to get in you executing that activity? Maybe you have limited time, maybe you have challenges in communication to the participants because the schools are scattered. You have challenges in communicating with the top leadership, maybe you want the national patron to be there, etc., etc. You list them. Why? Why do you have to list the challenges? Because you are still planning. Once you know the challenges while still planning, it helps you to get the solutions to mitigate them. Then you write the mitigations. The solutions to those challenges, you also outline them. And then you give the tentative program. We are using the word tentative because at that level, you have not yet even communicated to the people you want to present, but you put it there. Then you start communicating that you want you to present this paper on this day, something like that. Then after, expected outcome. Who can tell me where we get the outcomes from? Expected outcome of the project, of the activity. Anyone who is thinking what our outcomes could be for the activity that we are talking about? Yes?
After the activity, what have those that the activity have been planned for? What have they got?
Remember, we have not yet done the activity, but we are expecting the outcome of the activity which we are going to do. So where do we get those outcomes from when we are still writing the concept paper? Who can think? Yes, Dad. From the objectives. Is it different? Yes. So our outcomes will be our intended objective. At the end of the day, we expect participants to have achieved the report writing skills. At the end of the day, participants will have achieved the resource mobilization skills. At the end of the day, we expect participants to have achieved the good leadership skills. At the end of the activity, we expect participants to have achieved the good dawa skills. You get it? It's as simple as that. You get the objectives, you change the tense. It becomes your outcome. And the concept paper is done. And people don't know these things. So when you're writing a research proposal, you use this framework. Just change the language. I just used an example of what we are going to do because we are Muslim student leaders. So when it becomes to research, it's the same story or any other form of a proposal. You just change the wording, then it becomes your proposal. You give a problem statement there, background. You see there have been so many cases of malaria in eastern Uganda, despite the fact that hospitals are there, people are using the coatem and so on, but the cases of malaria are increasing. This is therefore to request you that we distribute mosquito nets to every individual family within eastern Uganda. That is your background. You get it? Objectives. To distribute mosquito nets to every household. To do this. Then you go there, then you write your budget for 20 millions. Then you give it out. Is it different from what we have discussed of organizing leadership training? But people do not have that skill. So you people have gotten the opportunity, that's what will make you different from the rest. So you write your proposal, you distribute it, some will go through, others may not go through, but that is the normal trend. You understand it? So that is what we call a concept paper. I would expect it not to be more than 5 pages. Whatever we have so far discussed should make it as brief as 2 to 3 pages, but well explained. Any question on the concept paper?